Keep laughing, you guys. What's wrong with you?
Hey.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy St. Paddy's Day. And I just have to say up top that I don't believe in St. Patrick's Day. As a pagan, it's actually not a cool holiday, but I love the green. My name's Colleen. I mean, the firm that I work for had not only their own two St. Paddy's Day celebrations, but they also videotaped the New York St. Patrick's Day parade and put it up on our website so everybody could see it. I mean, they're so into it. So I couldn't get away from it.
I work at a university, so you can't get away from anybody's holidays.
Exactly. You can't get away
we
from
celebrate everybody's university.
Yep, totally. So thank you, everybody. Welcome to Politarology. Thank you for coming. There's already a million really wonderful and I'm sure extremely attractive people in the chat. And I just wanted to point that out, that I'm 100% sure that everybody's gorgeous who's in the chat. And you have the four of us who are gorgeous. And I'm just going to go round robin and let everybody say hello and what's going on with them. And I'm going to start, Val, with you. Hello.
Hi, Val, Dragonfly Crystals here. You can catch me tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time and 12 noon Eastern time with Gerald of Tarot Stash. We're going to talk about art and do community readings for people. See you there.
Cool. Very cool. Okay, Shari, you want to give us a little? I tried to do a spotlight on you, but it ended up going on me. So sorry about that.
Yeah, you have to drag it back and forth, picture to picture. So
okay. So I'll try that with you. Let's try with you. Okay, go ahead, you guys.
You could
go ahead,
skip
Shari.
me.
Go ahead, Shari.
Now just there we go. Now we change places. I'm Shari, Voices from the Swamp. As most of y'all know, I live down here in Louisiana, and this weekend is a off-air weekend after tonight, unless I decide to pop on to do a live or something on my own. I don't have anything scheduled this weekend because I got too much housework I need to get done that I've put off doing for like the last month. So, but I do every other Sunday. I'm doing a show with Juno from Juno Sphere. On energetic healing, Jinshin Jiu-Jitsu, which is fascinating to learn about. And the Sisters of the Mystical Terror, that's every Wednesday, and with Val and others. And
you guys had like 10 people on the other night. I looked at that and I was like, good Lord, it looks like the match game or something. I mean,
it feels like that sometimes.
With all the boxes.
Numbers. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, though. And then just whatever live streams of whoever I talk into coming on and being a guest.
Well, you'll be here quite a bit, Shari. I got to tell you that. You too, Val. All right. And Cleo, tell us what's going on with your channel and you and whatever's going on.
Now you get to drag her and I just switch.
Okay.
What channel?
I'm kidding. I know what you're talking about. I'm Cleo. I'm a psychic. I'm a medium. I don't do tarot. I don't do astrology. So it's up to these three to fill in the gaps here because I don't do any of that. Just whatever comes in, whatever my spirit guides tell me, that's what I'm telling you. And as far as a channel, I don't have one yet, but it's coming. So, hey, there's something to get excited about.
I think you should have a chat with Shari about her strategy with her channel, because I think, Shari, you spent 45 years going on everybody else's channel, and then all of a sudden your channel blew up and you went, oh, look, I have a channel, and you had 5,000 subscribers right off the bat.
I wish. Yeah, I mean, when you have a YouTube account, you have a channel. It's just, what do you do with it? And I didn't know I could do anything with it. And so when I first started kind of getting into all of this and learning, and everybody was like, you need to do something with your channel. And so I decided, we had a hurricane coming. This was a year ago, August. And so I decided I'll do a weather vlog for the week leading up to the hurricane. And Scott from Spiritual Scott Essence, he found out that I had a channel, and he was like, "Okay, everybody in chat, you got to stop, go subscribe to Shari's channel, and then come back." And so I went from 2 to 40 something in like 15 minutes, and I was like, "Oh wow, it's
Wow.
kind of cool." Now I got to do something. I have people that are actually subscribed to me now. So, and it's just been, and even after that, it was a matter of, I was a guest on everybody's show that I could get to invite me, and before I finally got the nerve to do it myself, and just
not
took
a bad
time.
strategy. It seems to be working. And you guys, I went on my phone to try to make you all moderators, but none of you have typed in the chat from what I can see on YouTube, so I couldn't do it.
Okay, I just put something in.
Okay, so there we go. Okay, so let me see. Well, I don't want to hold us up with this. I'll get back to this while you guys are reading.
Yeah, we can do it later.
All righty,
No
so
big
I'll go
deal.
back to our more normal look here,
The Brady
and
Bunch.
yeah, that's what we are. We're the Brady Bunch, and people in the chat, I will look for your questions at some point. I see. Oh, only Rockstar has put one in. Okay, so Rockstar, I kind of got that question in my brain. So for right now, I'm going to go with some questions we have here, and then we will get to yours. So I perused the news, as is my wont, because I have a regular job and I got to do something there. And
we have some exciting stuff today.
well, this one that I'm starting with actually is overseas. This has to do with France. There are French protesters protesting against Emmanuel Macron's decision to force a bill raising the retirement age from 62 to 64 through his parliament, but without a vote. And so far, sanitation workers, university students, leaders of this influential CGT union, and other groups, including activist groups who also opposed his last election, have been protesting mainly in Paris, but really all over. So what's going to happen to Macron's bill?
Why are they protesting? What are they? Who cares whether it's 62 or 64?
Well, in Europe, they're very, very territorial about their entitlements and their benefits from work. They don't want anyone to take anything away from them.
They pay much, much higher taxes than us.
They do, and they get a lot for it too. They get their health care, and they get, their maternity leave, I think, is at least 2 years, if not 3. I mean, they have a very, very generous in their health care and their social benefits. So people don't want to have to wait till they're 64 to collect their retirement. They want it now, and I don't know what they have. It's not like Social Security. It's probably like 5 million times better, because they've been paying half their paycheck all their lives into taxes. So that's what's going on in France. So let's see.
Has it actually been enacted? Is it actually a new law? No, they're
Not
working
yet.
on it. They're
He's
working
working on it, yeah. And he wants to put it through without a vote. He wants to just make it happen, like an order, like Joe Biden just signs an order. He wants it to be that kind of a thing. And the country's
would that be because now you'd have 2 more years of putting more money into it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas Americans, they're wanting to push it back to, 70, 72 before we can officially retire. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm not quite 62 yet, and I'm tired. I'm ready to retire now.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
no, but what is the retirement in the United States? 67, isn't it?
67 is the earliest that you can retire. But if you hold off until 70, you get a higher amount.
You're talking about Social Security wise.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then as far as the retirement plan, it would depend on the place you work. Like, I work for the state, so you have to put in so many years. It doesn't go by your age.
Well, I think this guy in France, I don't see it as a big deal. But then again, I'm not in that country. I have no idea what how terrible things might be with inflation or recessions or anything like that. So my feeling is he's probably going to get to do what he wants to do unless it just becomes a huge uproar.
It is a big uproar now.
Okay, it's already in a huge uproar.
Already, yeah.
Don't screw with the French.
Really?
It was the top story in world news today, and so something's happening there.
So what are the cards saying?
I don't know. Go ahead.
I started out, I pulled the Queen of Pentacles. So this is, the people of France are like, look, this is our money, our retirement. Stop trying to screw around with it. This is ours. Then I pulled the King of Cups, which is Macron, trying to say, but I'm your benefactor. I'm going to take care of you. If you wait a couple of more years, there'll be more money in the till. And on and on and on. And then I pulled the Hierophant, which stands for institutions, traditions. And so you're going to have a lot of knocking heads there because people want their money when they expect to get their money. They don't believe him when he says he's going to take care of them. And they want to stick to their traditions of what they've already got.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm pulling from it.
All right.
Val, did you get anything on this?
I do. Well, the short version, I'll give you the short version first with the deck of character. They're trying to achieve something. Actually, it's kind of reverse. This is really the people sitting there with their current plan, and they want to keep control of it. I got this sunken ship showing me that it's not going to go through. I did the tarot, a sun card, people having nightmarish feelings about it. Moderation, kind of balancing everything out, and a fiery king coming in with action. But here's the Tower moment.
Yeah.
Justice. This is, I think, everybody going, yeah, they didn't pass it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So collectively, you guys are seeing that this is not going to happen for them. The guy's not going to be able to raise the age limit. Score.
Yeah.
Well, good for France.
Yeah. So my cards, I got the 8 of Cups first off. And so I don't think anybody's very happy about this. And then I got the 7 of Wands. Of course, he's going to defend it. And the 9 of Pentacles, it's okay for him. He's rich. He doesn't care.
Exactly.
And then the 6 of Pentacles, they're going to try to help everybody out. But then the 4 of Swords is a foundation. But my question now, as I listen to all of this, is why is he doing this? Why now? Why does he need to do that?
It must have something to do with this recession or inflation, or the whole world with the pandemic has run into financial difficulties. So I'm thinking that a lot of people wouldn't work for a while, and that probably affected their economy just like it affected ours.
He's trying to make up for shortfalls.
Yeah.
That is exactly what Cleo is saying in another way. That is about the shortfalls from the COVID, the pandemic.
And then on top of that, you had Brexit, which happened in England, which cut off an arm of money and jobs going back and forth across those borders.
Absolutely.
As the English are now finding out, they basically screwed themselves.
Back and
Their people were like, no, we want it back. Thank you very kindly. We don't like this Brexit crap. So
sorry, cat moment.
Oh, cat moment, yeah.
So okay, I think we got that one figured out. Could I move on? Could I bring up something that has nothing to do with France?
Yeah, we're doing questions.
It was a thing that I'd read last night that I was just like Florida, what is wrong in Florida? My God, they are so screwed up. So a Florida Republican put in a bill called, I'm looking at my notes here.
Go ahead.
Put in a bill called the House Bill 1069, which, remember, it's 1069 because what he wants to do is he wants to ban girls from discussing their periods in school.
I heard about this. Isn't this
Did you?
wild?
Is that a real thing?
It's
Yes.
And
That's
they-
Bill 1069.
Now, what was the penalty if say a 13-year-old girl had to call her mother or her nurse because she's discussing her cycle, she would be breaking the law. So what are they going to do? Throw a 13-year-old in jail?
Absolutely. Why?
Or let her sit in her chair in class and just bleed all over everything.
Exactly.
And everybody's supposed to pretend like it's not happening.
This is so outrageous.
It's outrageous that a female's body is anybody's conversation. That's what I am.
Thank you.
Well, it bans them from discussing their menstrual cycle with school officials. Who in the hell is going up? And you're talking about maybe even 10-year-olds, you know.
Okay, so I got a question. So does the 13-year-old have a cell phone? Can she text her mother? Is that against the law? Or can she message her on like Facebook or something? Or, you know, like maybe the family has Teams. I don't know. Maybe is that against the law? You know, Zoom? I mean, how far do we go? This is crazy.
And is the parent allowed to bring her a Kotex or a Tampax if she does text her?
How's she going to tell them what to do with it? She's going to say, what if this girl has never had this before?
Yeah. What if it's her first period and, you know.
And how many parents don't discuss that with their kids because they're embarrassed?
The age limit to discuss such things. I'm like, really? And I'm laughing because as I'm reading this article and then I get to the very end of it, they passed the bill.
Oh,
They passed this bill in Florida. It's craziness.
So all the little 13, 14, how old are you when you graduate from high school? Like 18? All of those. So some women start very, very young. What if she was 9? So for 10 years in public school, these young women are not allowed to discuss their own cycles. That is some Handmaid's Tale shit. I mean, that
really is, isn't it? Handmaid's Tale.
That's beyond Handmaid's Tale because that is. I mean,
no, it's bad.
It's really beyond that. Even.
I mean,
Okay,
that's
One of the Democrats in this group down in Florida asked them, you know, does this include like, you know, 10 to 15-year-old girls can't ask somebody anything about their periods? And the guy was like, yeah. And I'm like, why? Why in the world?
Because he's embarrassed about it. Because he doesn't understand it.
Right. because he wants to pretend that women are virgins, pure as the driven snow, that they don't have periods. They're just clean and pure. Because he must consider it like dirty.
Having a period makes you less clean and pure? What the hell? We're talking about every woman on the planet. I mean,
there are so many societies that believe that, including in the Aboriginal communities in Australia. You can't sleep in the same hut if you're doing that, you have to go to a whole nother side of the village. So
come on, gal, that's a blessing. You know that. I would love that. Have a whole other place to go to. Sign me up. Take me there. That's fine.
A lot of Native American tribes were like that too. You know
you
that.
always have the right answer to that, the right response.
But with a lot of your Native American tribes, it wasn't just that the women, when they would have a cycle, would go sleep and live in another tent for 5 to 7 days. but they would go there with older women in the tribe who would then explain to them what was happening to their body, what do they do about protecting themselves, the fact that now they're fertile and they can have children because now things are moving and working. And it's like, you still get these guys that think that women never have a period until they've had sex, and it's like, what planet are you from?
Shari, they don't need to know about that. They just need to know that the women are discussing that in the sweat lodge, and when they're done, they're all going to get arrested and thrown in jail. I think it makes sense to me. They're all in one place.
Another surprising place this happens at is in Tibet, where girls are frozen to death being put out in the hut with no heat in the wintertime. So this is going on.
Are you saying in 2023 these types of things are? Oh my God. Okay, so it's not just Florida that's backwards. There is totally other.
No, but they're starting to look like one of those third world countries.
Starting to. Good Lord.
And they're on their way. They've already.
This actually, not this issue, but the book banning and the abortion issue. Those were two of the questions I was going to ask about. And I had looked on a map. This nation has got 24 states have laws on the books, or they're about to make them law, concerning restrictions of abortion or outright bans of abortion. Can I say abortion on YouTube? Abortion. Okay, I said it. Okay, I just want to make sure they heard it. But here's the thing, too, is that, the way they're doing these laws, Florida is like the head of the dragon here. They keep making up this stuff, and these other states, it just filters out to all these other states, and they're just like monkey see, monkey do. They just keep doing it. It's crazy.
Well, Florida isn't the head. Florida is the dangly body part that can't get hard.
Happy St. Paddy's Day.
Why they have so much problem with all of this stuff.
So you're saying they're the impotent?
Yes, they're the impotent ones.
They're so impotent.
Well,
with the impotentate in charge. So
they're getting so hung up about gay and Disneyland. That just irritated me. That they're fighting with Disneyland, really? Gay, transgenders, drag queens. Oh my God, drag queens! Get rid of them.
Did y'all hear what happened about that? Kirk Cameron, the child actor from whatever show he did. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like this really self-righteous Christian guy now. He wrote, or he allowed his name to be put on a children's book to come out and be published. And he and his publicist decided that they were going to go do this book tour to push his book. But do they go to the churches that support him? No. Do they go to any public venues that allow and have the room for something like that? No. They decide they're going to hit all of the public libraries. And they went to this one little small town in, I don't know, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, somewhere like that. This little podunk town with a public library. And they showed up en masse with hundreds of people showing up. This little library didn't have the space to host them. And when they told them, look, you've only reserved a room that seats, 30 people, not 300 people. We can't service that many people. And then they got mad because they wouldn't let them just take over the whole library. And then turned around and they had their talking heads go on air the next day saying how the library staff were rude and they didn't want any Christians in there and this and that and the other. Next thing they know, the library's getting bomb threats and death threats, and the employees are getting all. It's like, this is just getting way too far out of hand.
Melissa Miller had a really good comment. I think I'm putting it up here. I think she's right. Now, I think the Central Coordinating Committee is actually the Federalist Society, but I think the tentacles that reach out from them I think, is what's been going on for 50 years, just trying to control. Can you imagine how excited some of these people are to see this dream come true for them?
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, that's so sick that this is their big, like Mitch McConnell, 81-year-old man, and he has been, oh God, I wish I wasn't censored by YouTube because I could say a lot right now, but this is his big, like, oh, I did all this. Poor man's in the hospital or in a rehab right now because he's got a broken rib and maybe somebody beat him up. Maybe he didn't fall.
He must have taken one hell of a tumble because a broken rib and a concussion just from tripping. I don't know.
And no broken hip. No broken hip. Right? Most old elderly people who fall, they break a hip or damage a knee or something. None of that. So I'm thinking somebody beat him up, but that's just me,
Well, I don't think somebody beat him up. I'm kind of wondering if he has like a vertigo problem.
Probably.
Something like that. A dizzy spell that caused him to lose his balance and take that kind of a tumble. I mean,
fallen before, and his wife just looks down at him and keeps going.
Yeah.
Can you blame her?
Connie, she just.
I don't hear her saying, "Honey, it's time to retire." Something very wrong there. Okay, Melissa, I love your comment. I'm gonna take it down now, but that's a really good comment. So are we?
Well, and you got to remember too, the Republicans were very smart a good 50, 60 years ago when they decided what we're going to do is start at the local level and just take over from there. And they've just slowly spread out over all these years from local to state to federal to now they've got their judges in place. And so, while the Democrats have sat around with their thumbs up their butt singing Kumbaya and not paying attention to what the hell they need to pay attention to.
That's right.
And now we're having to face all this mess. And it's like my mother marched and fought for my rights as a woman. And now I'm going to have to do it all over again. It's like, what the hell? It just infuriates me. I'm
very bad. So are we doing a question? Because I got another question.
Let's go.
Let's stay on Florida. Okay,
I used to live in Florida. It used to be a nice place to live.
Yeah, I'm sure. So educational censorship is continuing to spread across the country in 2023 with, wait for it, 86 educational gag orders introduced as of February 14th this year. At the state level, the 2023 legislative session is shaping up similar to 2022. There was a lot there. There have been a large increase in clones of Florida's Don't Say Gay law, a slight decrease in the divisive concepts bills, and an overall pretty much the same amount of number of bills in general introduced this year as compared to 2022. So, okay, blah, 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 blah. So when will these ban? I have all sorts of statistics. It's just too long to read because it makes everybody go, you can't handle it. So when will these bans be reversed, and what actions do you see being taken by lawmakers over the next couple of years concerning this issue? So everybody, Kathy, everybody discuss. Okay.
Well, this all can't, it all got really super crazy after they got rid of Roe versus Wade. So that's the beginning of it. And what you're talking about, I read about that myself. I was just totally shocked that so many states were jumping on board with the goofiness coming out of Florida. I'm thinking they've all got the electric Kool-Aid or something. It just makes absolutely no sense. So when will it stop? Really, what's got to stop is we got to get back to doing something about Roe versus Wade. Get back to that. And I know Biden is trying to do something, but now with a Republican-controlled House, he's probably not going to be able to do what he wants to do before the end of his term. So
Yeah, because they can't pass bills. None of those people know how to be lawmakers. Go ahead.
Oh God, that is so true.
And not just that, they want to ban the abortions. They want, just like they don't want people talking, women talking about their periods. I mean,
Exactly.
that is just so crazy.
God forbid, girls might be taught that there's an actual method you can count and know when you're fertile and when you're not. I mean, it's kind of a lost art, but that's what our
No,
grandmothers did.
Shari, you're onto something, because there's a little something called the internet that they can use, unless they want to block that from Florida.
Learn the rhythm method.
And learn anything on YouTube.
Well, and I mean, I'm down in Louisiana, so we're halfway mired in the craziness. We've been lucky the last 8 years. We've had a Democratic, albeit a very conservative Democratic governor, but his term is coming up due, and they're already starting to throw names in the hat for who's going to run for governor. And right now, the leading contenders are two Republicans who had their noses shoved so far up 45's butt that they'll never be any other stain but brown on them, you know? So, and it's like, I hate to even think. I mean, it's bad enough we have Republican controlled state house and everything here that our governors had to fight against tooth and nail. But, you know, geez, man, if we wind up with a Republican governor, I dread to think all of the things that they would do. I mean, our number one front runner for governor was is our current AG, Attorney General, and he was one of the first ones to sign on to the Stop the Steal nonsense that 45 tried to do with all the lawsuits and stuff there in the beginning. And it was like, and y'all really want him to be your governor, really?
Well, with all the states jumping on this bandwagon of banning abortions and also getting all worked up about gays and transgenders and drag queens, why in the world drag queens got thrown into this, I'll never understand.
Don't forget critical race theory, which nobody was teaching, but they're all against that.
Oh yeah. Just
nobody knew what the hell that was until they started talking about it.
Yeah,
So.
It's just nonsense. So what are you saying, Cleo?
Well, Tennessee right now is trying to propose an anti-trans bill, and they want to define sex as a biological anatomy at birth. So, I mean, the problem here is you've got millions of people apparently that just can't accept diversity. I mean, not everybody is just lily white, straight, and I mean, a lot of people are, but
they're marginalizing so many people in society. It's going to be ridiculous. They're going to be less than the marginalized group. But I'm taking cards on it, and my cards say this is not going to last. And it really shows, this is how people are feeling right now.
Oh, I got the
marginalized people.
Oh, I didn't get the same one. Okay.
The king out there, trying to wield the power. It's all about the money, but it's all illusionary, and it's going to puff, blow away. And here is somebody who has heart and emotions, and the divine feminine intuitive coming in. They're going to have them rest, because then that wasn't enough. I did the deck of characters. There's angelic help. They're going to turn them to dust. I'm sorry I have this, but it's pointing to the circus. They have a lot of guts, and they're going to be shown the door. Enough said.
Ah, very nice. Mic drop.
That's my story.
There you go. Very nice.
So you're basically saying that all this crap we're hearing is not. There's more people out there that do not agree with it. It's just that we're hearing everything on the media that, okay.
That's exactly right. There's more people that disagree with that kind of baloney.
Yeah.
Why we're silent about it, I have no idea. That is
Well,
just,
are they silent
what
about it, or
blows
is
my
it just
mind.
the media is putting out there? I'm seeing more and more. The media is so controlled by somebody else that might be a Republican, might be a foreign country. But the more and more stuff I'm seeing, particularly on the internet. I mean, not. The news around here, even the national news, I'm thinking, well, they're not really talking about a lot of this stuff, or they might throw something out, 15 seconds of something, and move on to something more important. So I'm thinking this controlling by the internet with all this. Because when you read it, it sounds like, like we're talking about all these other states that are jumping in and doing things like Florida is doing. So you're thinking, oh my God, the whole country is falling apart and falling into this thing about suddenly we're going to be judging and be critical of everybody because they're not like what those people think they should be. I mean, we were doing so well. We were getting somewhere.
that's when we had Obama.
Pardon me?
Yeah,
When we
had Obama.
Oh, yeah.
That was the trigger for them. When we had an African American president,
I was so happy.
who I thought was the perfect crossover because he was half black and half white. Well, you can't get any better than that. Half and half. That's the whole damn country.
Not only that, but he has a beautiful soul. His everything.
Intelligent, well spoken, I'm sure when he gets angry, it's a frightening thing to see. But he had to be one of the coolest ducks I've ever seen. I mean, just nothing seemed to faze him. There was a few times over the 8 years I can remember something happening and he would get that look on his face, and all I could think of was, dude, you best be glad he doesn't have a gun. He'd probably shoot you dead. I mean, just not that he would do that, but you just could see it.
Well, and he had to fight with the Republicans the whole 8 years he was in there, but somehow he managed to get through it. So Biden has seen what Obama went through. So he knows what he's going to be dealing with. Plus, Biden is he's just so super knowledgeable. It's just so
he's
cool.
A politician. He really knows his job, and he knows how to work across the aisle. He's a good communicator and a good negotiator. So, he really is good at his job.
In the old days, they would call him a consummate statesman.
Yes, thank
That's
you.
what he is.
Gave me the tells. I like that.
So to kind of change something a little bit, what we've been, I've noticed over the weeks listening to all you guys, in your different videos and stuff, that you all think that Biden is going to be reelected, but not going to finish his term. Has there been any changes on that with the tarot or with anybody seeing something different? Because I didn't really see it that way. On the other hand, I'm looking at it closer and I'm thinking part of me is just, boy, wouldn't we love that? That would be perfect. But
it's a really good question, Cleo. I think we should throw on this because I kind of want to see what if he's really going to finish his term out.
This term or a second term?
Second term.
Yeah, is he going to have a second term? And and the things I've been hearing off the psychic community on YouTube is that he's going to hit that second term. He'll be voted back in, but he won't, for one reason or another, finish it. But Kamala will. Kamala will come in and do all the stuff that he was going to do anyway.
Yeah,
and a lot of people think that she doesn't do anything at all right now, and they don't realize he's had her hard at work in the background, working and dealing with all kinds of stuff that isn't real pretty and newsworthy to splash on the headlines.
Well, she gets
So
nothing but
they can't
negativity.
tar and feather him for it. He's got her back there doing all the work, all the heavy lifting.
Well,
And,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the picture on the top world trending news was a picture of the lunch they had for maybe it was the Irish president.
yeah, they had the Irish prime minister.
Yeah. And Kamala was sitting right next to him, all decked out in green. She was laughing. It was a really nice shot of her and the prime minister. And I just thought, good, this is good, because personally, I think Joe Biden realizes that time is of the essence. The clock is ticking.
It might be by design. It might be by design that he steps back and saying, "Oh, it's my wife. Oh, I'm feeling a little tired now, and I'm going to step back." I think it's by design, and these are the cards I threw. This is kind of feeling like if they need to position themselves. And here's the, cycles and changes, right? It's going to trying to balance everything right now and going to that place where you need to really get your wisdom in order. Completion, riding home to victory. This is him turning it over, walking out.
Yeah.
Like a planned deal, but of course they're going to say something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking care. I see
So you're kind of reaffirming that that could happen. That he could become president again, and Kamala will take over.
Yep. That's how.
Yeah.
And I see it as a plan.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I feel that Biden is prepping her to step into his shoes. Yeah, he is prepping her. He's seen the writing on the wall. He doesn't want to bank on the fact that there will be a second term, so he's accelerating the schedule.
Yes.
But I got Joe. I got Joe here looking at the future.
Yeah, I did too. The King of Swords. That's my Joe.
I got Kamala as the Princess of Pentacles. She's only the princess now because she's waiting, but she's ready to go. And also the Pentacles too, I think, is showing that she's younger. She's, I won't say healthier, but she's more able maybe than him. But right smack dab in the middle is the High Priestess. Yeah. This is their plan. You are absolutely right.
And I'll tell you why, really. Here's the story.
And I pulled the Knight of Pentacles, which is hard work, following through.
The Dems don't have another viable right now. It's Kamala is the viable. So stepping out to let her in so she can get in the next time. It's just a solid plan.
Yeah.
I think Buttigieg will maybe in another 10 or 15 years might become a viable prospect.
Yes.
Especially because he would bring in the LGBTQ vote to an even much stronger, but he's a good politician and he's very, the way he puts across his ideas and puts across facts. I've seen him go on these Fox News specials, where these town halls, where by the time he finishes speaking, everybody in the room is standing on their feet applauding him, with the Fox News host like sitting there going, "What the hell just happened?"
In a nice way. I mean, he can give the comeback
because he's smart. He reminds me of Obama.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, because of the way he speaks and the way he's able to get his ideas across.
Yeah.
Well, and like Bill Clinton, he is also a Rhodes Scholar, and that goes a long ways towards.
Plus, he's a veteran who did, what was it, two deployments, I think.
At least
2 deployments that he did in battle, not just in cooling his heels in some office,
right,
somewhere in DC. He was in the heat of the thing.
Sterling said, I think it was last Sunday, that Buttigieg would not be president, but he'd work all around the White House for all this.
And that could be. He may not, but I just think he would be a very viable candidate.
He would
10 or 15 years from now. He needs a little bit more seasoning. But talking about pulling on it, I mean, my King of Swords is my Biden card.
Yeah.
And it just, every time I'm pulling for Biden, this is the card that pops up. And then I got the Ten of Pentacles, which is Kamala doing the work and reaping the rewards for it.
Yep.
I have a cousin who's far right, and he literally called me on the phone a few weeks ago, freaking out because it finally got through his thick skull that the number one goal of the Republicans is to end Social Security and Medicare and privatize it. He was flipping out, and I'm like, okay, so I said, when did you finally realize that? Well, they were talking about it. I said, my cousin's name. I said, dude, I said, they've been working on doing that for 50 damn years. Where have you been? I said, that's not new news. That's old news. I said, and they're that much closer to pulling it off. I said, what always got me was how many people they managed to fool about it, because they quit talking in circles and they're finally just flat out stating what it is they're going to do.
Yeah.
And people are starting to wake up and go,
it's not going to happen. It is absolutely not going to happen.
But what you're going to find is that a lot of people are going to wake up and start saying, oh, what was wrong with me? Because Neptune's going through some changes and planets are hitting it. And it's going to be as if these people were in a cult and they're going to need to be deprogrammed.
oh, yeah.
It's going to be a whole industry of deprogramming, just like with the opioid crisis. There's the whole industry about rehab and everything like that. So I interrupted you. You were still doing your card, Shari. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I mean, the last one I pulled was the Knight, and just showing hard work, and that's what it's going to take. That's what, like I said, you don't really see Kamala that much.
Right.
Because the news just isn't really following her. They're not really covering what she's doing.
When she does
her running down to Mexico.
Negative about Kamala. And that's what really bothers me. Like, how does Biden get back in if they're so negative about Kamala? Then again, I'm looking at this on the internet.
Yeah, you're right.
What's that about?
You can't trust any of that stuff. That you gotta just
gotta get beyond that.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's just that she's constantly on the go doing things. She and her husband both. He's been an excellent representative of the second gentleman. I mean, he's done a lot of things that normally the wife would be doing as far as functions and whatnot. And he's doing them in a cheerful, loving manner that he's winning people over left and right. People really like this man. And when you see I do too.
I think he's
and
great.
when you see the way he looks at her, half the women in the room melt whenever, there's a shot at them. Because he looks at her like she is the beginning and the end.
Yep.
Just the way he looks at her. And it's like, and I can hear women saying, if only I had someone look at me that way.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, guys.
They were almost newlyweds. That's why he still got that look.
Right. Well, the rounding up, the final card that I got for this whole thing was the Empress. And I think that that's Kamala. I think she becomes the Empress when she steps in to the presidency.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she was my first choice.
Me
back
too.
when, everybody was first starting out. I mean, she was the first one I sent money to. I was just like, that's our girl right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
Rose Blue has a point that I was just going to say is they didn't follow Biden either when he was VP. They rarely, if ever, follow VP. Their focus is always on the president.
Yeah. That's really true.
Yes.
That's true.
and up until Biden and Obama, most presidents and vice presidents rarely spoke to each other. They certainly weren't really friends. they were just political allies. It was, who do I hook myself up with that's going to be the best for me to further my career?
Hmm.
And it wasn't until Obama and Biden got in there and the whole country watched not just a friendship develop, but those two men became like family,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
and
they
their
did.
their kids played together, you know, their wives got along and did things together. I know I saw several interviews where Obama would laugh and talk about, you know, I wasn't expecting to gain a whole Irish family, but I'm Irish anyway, so I guess it makes sense.
Mhm.
Oh,
And, you know, so, because his mother was Irish.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
and it
So
wasn't until I guess everybody saw
the
that a
thing,
president and a vice president could not only work together, but that they could be friends, good
Yeah.
friends. You know,
the other thing that's been coming up a lot on YouTube is something that Colleen's been talking about, that all these people are, or not all these people, so many things are going to be changing in March, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
answer
Yeah.
is
I'm sorry. You're
changes.
talking to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Snap.
Well, yeah, you had Saturn go into Pisces, and I don't know if you've realized it, but since that day, I mean, what day was the full moon? I think the 5th.
It was like
The full moon.
last Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, just a couple days before Saturn went. Let me just check here. So, can I get a? No. Okay, my new computer. I
It was
don't
on the 7th. The full moon was on the 7th.
So that was the day that Saturn went into Pisces, and I ever since that day, boy, things have just been different. Really, really, really different. For one thing, the news just went into hyperspace. I mean, it's just like just going, 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 going. We got so many news stories coming out every day. That's one thing.
Just
Because things are being
before
revealed.
just before we came on air, it came out on the news. The international courts have issued arrest warrants for Putin,
Yes.
and 45's attorneys were notified by the New York AG, get your client ready. It's time for him to surrender and come in and testify.
Yeah.
He's getting indicted. I mean, they just haven't officially handed him the indictment papers yet, but it's
And
It's
that,
all
and that
happening.
yeah,
It's all
that's
happening.
that's what I was saying in my astrology videos. In March, Saturn's going to move, and everything's like dominoes, going to just start going.
Boom, boom, boom.
And Pluto changes signs on the 23rd, which is another huge shift for our country. Not and the world, but for our country, gigantic, because it's moving away from Capricorn, which is our Pluto return. That's where our natal Pluto is, and it's moving into Aquarius. So that means it's moving into the position where it was after the signing of the not the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. After that signing, then they had like a year or so of hubbub, and they were still at war. And then Pluto went into Aquarius, and they started getting down to the business of what is our Constitution really all about. So
Yeah.
as we go into Aquarius, that's what the lawmakers are going to have to do.
look what just jumped out of my deck when I was shuffling.
Yeah.
The Ace of Swords.
Yeah. That's all that stuff has got to be looked at. But what a task. They're going to need to like hire triple the amount of people they have now just to look at all the issues that need to be addressed.
Oh,
I mean,
seriously.
healthcare, education, the January 6th thing, the abortion thing. I mean, Jesus, God, there's just so many things. The environment, the food industry, the banking industry. It's bananas. It's just too much stuff. It's so much.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. And so much stuff came up this month. You're right. The banking thing. I'm like,
yeah,
that's huge. But
I think Biden did the right thing there by simply telling them, no, we're not bailing you out. That's the job of the other big banks.
Yeah, the FDIC can give the insurance to the depositors, to the people, but you, the bank, no, go fly. You're not getting anything.
But then the banks all got together. I mean, many banks got together and said, we're going to help this bank and we're going to help that bank. and that changed everything. It changed everything with the stock market. It changed, the people weren't freaking out about losing their money. And
It stopped having a run on the banks.
it's
It
a
stopped
very
it in
cool
its
thing
tracks.
that they would collectively come together. They didn't have to do that. But one guy thought about it, and he called up another guy from one bank, and then it just kind of spread out. And they said, okay, let's all get together and help out. And I can't remember the name of the bank they're helping out, but that is a very cool thing to have this kind of united front that says, okay, you're having some trouble. We can help balance it out. We can help,
They're going to be harmed if they don't. I mean, it's really one hand washes the other. In the banking industry, the interest rates are going to go crazy. Everything's going to be messed up all around the world, just from even banks here in the United States. And Credit Suisse is having the same kind of problem. And that is ginormously all over the world. And many businesses have tranche loans from them. I could go on and on.
Well, look at what with NATO. NATO was on the verge of complete collapse when Putin decided to go ahead and let's hit Ukraine. It's time to do this. And Biden was like, no. And Zelensky was like, I don't think so. This is my damn country. Go back to your home. But Biden is the one that managed to get all of the other NATO countries back together again to say, no, this is something we need to put a stop to. And now you've got two major countries that have never belonged to any other organizations. They've always kept themselves very detached from global goings on, who are now in the process of joining NATO themselves. The Netherlands and yeah.
No, this is Russia. Hidden money banking system.
Yeah. And the bank that folded in California, that was the
Silicon Valley.
Yeah, that was a global bank. It was a local bank, but they had a lot of global money. It was all of that e-commerce.
Well, a lot of the reason that they had global money was because they did have
the
money.
Bitcoin.
They had Bitcoin, but also they were funded by foreign investors.
Right.
Against the regulators. And the head guy of that bank was one of the loudest voices telling them to drop the regulation. But I'd like to, it was Froxy Roxy had a question here way up at the beginning of the night. I'd like to do that question and then maybe a couple more or one more or something. She said, will Arizona, well, I'll put it up here, and then you can look at it. Will Arizona, specifically the Phoenix metro area, within the next 50 to 100 years become uninhabitable due to climate change, rising temps, and lack of water, or will there be a solution? Ooh, I just got a hit on this. I think there will be a solution, and I think that something about the geography of that area will actually help with the solution, because I think that the ability to it has to do with changing ocean water into drinking water, and something about that, and being able to irrigate the land and grow crops and stuff like that. But I do think that it will be habitable, but I think it's going to go through tremendous turmoil due to climate change, and that will push people into making these decisions to seek these solutions. That's the
I
hit I
lived
got.
in Phoenix for 10 years. A lot of people don't realize Phoenix, it's very similar to New Orleans in a sense. Phoenix is in a bowl. It's surrounded by mountains, whereas New Orleans is in a bowl. It was surrounded by water. Now what did it take for them to finally start doing what was right for New Orleans? It took the levees breaking and the bowl to fill up with all the water, and people started drowning in their own homes for people to say, okay, wait a minute, we got to deal with this. And with Phoenix, like I said, I lived there for 10 years. You would not see rain for 3 months. You could stand outside and see it raining up in the mountains, but it never got down to the valley. And the smog levels there would be so bad that there were times you couldn't go outside during the day because of the smog levels. And
does Phoenix have a water source, like a river that comes through Arizona? Is that their main water source? Like in California, they've got I can't remember what.
We have the Colorado that runs through the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
But
I mean, is that where are they getting their water from?
Most of it is coming from aquifers, I believe. I think there's a couple, because there's mountains in the area. There's a lot of mountain runoff. There were a lot of very deep lakes up in the mountains that they could pull water from, but they've been drying up like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, something that we've never, well, I think in our lifetime have never seen before. And this thing with climate change is, it's just so critical. I could go on about climate change for days, but, you know.
I'm going to go get my cat some water. Go talk about climate change.
I didn't realize. You got to give your cat some water. Okay.
Speaking of which.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny, in Arizona, a town, Scottsdale, actually had a rural community that was outside their city that was on their water system. They cut them off and said, "Sorry, you're going to have to get water trucks," just because they didn't want it. They didn't want their precious resource to go out to the homes.
No, they're too busy watering the golf courses.
I mean, that's pretty. Yeah, exactly, right?
Really?
When I first moved to Phoenix, yeah.
The people watered the golf courses before they give the water to the people?
Correct.
Wow.
Yes. Phoenix, well, Scottsdale was lovingly referred to as Snotsdale when I lived there, or Snobsville, either one.
No.
You have a lot of very, very, very wealthy people that live in Scottsdale. And yeah, they come first. To hell with everybody else is kind of their opinion.
I was horrified when I read that article.
Yeah. I mean, the reservations, you know, there's 2 big reservations right there. It's like where one of the interstates run through. One side is a reservation, the other side is Scottsdale, you know. And to see the city even attempt to help on the reservation side, no, you know,
Wow.
they don't. It really is sad. I mean, when I moved out west, I thought, oh, I'm getting away from all of the prejudice, bigoted BS that I deal with down here in the South. No, it's just aimed at different groups. It's still there, you know.
Wow.
And
the drought situation was so serious in California that, you know, and then now they've got so much rain. They took the rain away. I'm from Washington State. They took the rain away from Washington and dumped it in California, and now they're just flooded.
Yeah.
But like a huge big snowpack and stuff, which is on the western part of the United States. That's exactly what we want. We want as much snow as we can get because that will get us through the summer. But the thing, I don't know where Arizona lands in that. Where you know, like their source of water and stuff. I mean, everybody I know, they're just like, I'm old, I'm going to Arizona. I'm like, Yahoo! What in the world's going? How's that going to work out?
It doesn't have its own water. So good luck to them.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow,
Like I said, when you get up into northern Arizona and you're up in Sedona and the Grand Canyon and all that, you've got more of your natural water sources that are coming through there. But once you kind of hit the middle and south, you're in pure desert. I mean, and yeah,
So
it's
aren't they
noticeable.
tapping into that source through the Grand Canyon? Aren't they?
I don't know how much they've been able to tap into. I mean, I know they have huge like aquifers, man-made aquifers that run through the city, literally. Kind of like you see down here in the South with the canals that funnel water to certain areas. Well, They have the same thing there, except there it's all concrete rivers going through with barbed wire over the top of it and everything that animals can't even get into the damn things for water.
Like
You know?
The Colorado River feeds many of these states.
That's
and
what I
it's
thought.
extremely low and in very bad shape.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I was thinking. Because, like, Cleo, you're thinking of rivers where we grew up and you still live there. You know, the water is full and flowing. You can swim in that river if you're strong enough. You can raft in it. You know, there's a lot of water there. The Colorado River, every time I see a picture of the Grand Canyon, I don't see the river.
You don't see it because
I
it's
see the rocks. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are sections of the rivers.
Trouble.
There are sections there of the rivers where there is no more river.
Right.
There's
Right.
not even mud. I mean, it's just dry.
They're very
Dry.
worried about the
Dry
Colorado
bed.
River.
Yeah. All right. So I got a kind of a fun question to end on. Well, not that fun, but it's a little more lighthearted than the other stuff we've been talking about. Okay. So it
Does it
starts
involve
off-
45 and handcuffs?
No.
Wishful
Sorry.
thinking. Never mind.
Burst your bubble. So it starts off in New Zealand. New Zealand lawmakers and other workers inside the nation's parliament will be banned from having the TikTok app on their government phones, officials said Friday. The FBI warns that user data such as browsing history, location, and biometric identifiers, Jesus, could be shared with China's authoritarian government. And the U.S. federal agencies were given 30 days from February 28th, so they got like 10 more days, to remove the app from their devices. And a similar edict was just adopted like this week in the UK. President Biden has issued the demand that Chinese owners spin off their shares or face a complete ban in the U.S. What does this mean for the future of TikTok?
Good question.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
And I read that same kind of thing, and I'm like, I'm not really educated enough or thought enough about this situation to tell you what might be happening. But I mean, I don't get why it's so important. I just we're talking about TikTok.
Yeah, because
It's an influencer.
yeah,
It also collects data on every single person that has it. Data you would not believe. I mean,
yeah, I got to get it
literally.
off my phone. I think it came with my phone or something. But
Yeah.
so many young people just love it. They love the entertainment value of it, and they use it, and they have it, and it's creepy. So what's going to happen to TikTok?
You know, I think if it had just stayed as something that was just entertaining and fun and people dancing and singing and being silly, that would be one thing. But they've turned it into so much. I mean, we thought Facebook was bad with misinformation. TikTok makes Facebook look like child's play.
And yet there are some good things that are on there too.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's some really funny things on there. I watch it myself, but
Okay, well, my
Because
card,
it's a Chinese company.
my cards are saying that it's dying. It's going to be put to death. We got, it's all fun and games until somebody gets hacked, and then we got the Sword of Truth. It's just going to rip it up. And then we got Five of Pentacles. So I think Biden's going to try to ban it or put some severe financial restrictions on it. That's going to lay the groundwork, and then it's going to die. It's not going to die, but I think they're going to ban it. I think they're going to just say, no, we can't do it anymore. Because it's.
Well, and if that happens, who cares really? I mean, what's
I don't
the big
care.
deal? I don't care. But the kids might miss it, but there'll be something else.
yeah, somebody will come up with another one.
Yeah, exactly.
I work at a university in the computer science department. Believe me, they will come up with something within days of them banning TikTok. Something will take its place that quick.
That's right.
If
But
they're not
what will-
already, don't have it ready to roll out.
But
I
what will
started out, I
happen
pulled the
to
Four
data
of Pentacles.
What
So
will happen to the data that TikTok already has, though?
that's the sticking point. What are they going to do with that data? Whose hands are going to see it?
The Chinese
Because a
government,
lot of
they
people
already see it.
have a lot of information on their phones and their computers that
Well,
they
like
don't even
Val said,
realize they have.
the
You know,
Chinese government already has it. They have all of this stuff
Yeah,
already.
it's not
So
like
we are already being spied on by the
Yeah.
Chinese government. That's a
Right.
fact. That is not conspiracy theory.
No.
That's a fact.
it's a
Yeah.
fact.
So how do we get that information back? What could Biden possibly do to get it back?
Can't. There's no way to get it back.
Mm-mm.
Oh, don't be so pessimistic.
Sherry,
There's no-
No, I agree. I agree
You are
totally.
done- Are you done reading?
the only way I could conceivably think that they would be able to get anything like that would be if they were able to corrupt, as in corruption of the systems that gather that data, as in viruses and whatnot.
They get it.
And for a system that big, I just don't, I mean, that would basically be almost like declaring war on another country, going in and corrupting.
you mean like China going to visit Russia during the Ukraine war?
Yeah, just like that.
Almost like that. So, Sherry, tell your students to get on it.
Oh,
them
they,
to go-
where do you think
gotta
I hear
go with
this
that
stuff
data.
from? Where do you think I hear this stuff from?
Just because they ban it in the United States, they've still
That's-
got a lot of other world
Yeah,
where they can have TikTok.
Yeah.
Sitting in a lounge chair collecting their
Yeah.
data. They're having fun. They got the open road in
You
front.
got them with, yeah.
I mean, look at this. They got the whole freaking universe, not just
Yeah.
the U.S. Hello. They got kids
This is how they're going to feel,
like you would not
like
believe.
they're being stabbed in the heart.
Sprouting more and more people who want TikTok. But here's a completion moment.
Yep. In reverse.
They have
I
a
don't pull
flower.
reversals.
Somebody
And
put
tonight I pulled more reversals than I've ever.
So it's going to get a bad rap, but it's going to go on for a while. So
Val, I love those tarot cards you have. That's all. Isn't that the set that also has the vomit tarot card?
not vomit. These type of characters, which I absolutely love.
Where'd you get those on Etsy?
That's hilarious.
You can get these on Amazon. You don't know. I got them from the Deck of Characters website. That was the only place I could find them. They
Oh,
have their own website. Just type in Deck of Characters. It'll show up.
Well, I like the way it's simplified and just little drawings.
Could you ever
And the
collect data? They don't have to do anything. They built it already.
so funny.
Build it and they will
Right.
come.
that's great. So we all read on TikTok. Cleo, did you get all your thoughts out on TikTok?
Yeah, I don't have that many thoughts about TikTok. I could care
Okay.
less if it disappears.
It's not
But
your
yeah,
word
something
anyway.
else will come up.
Yeah.
And as far as everybody's information, if you're putting stuff out there that you don't want somebody to know, don't put it out there.
Not
I
exactly.
mean,
I mean, it's common sense.
yeah, exactly.
You
If you go online and you buy a copper cooking pot,
Yeah.
I guarantee you within 10 minutes on any other device in any other way, shape, or form, if you go online, you're going to see nothing but advertisements for copper pots.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know? And it's like, how the hell do they know that? Because you just bought it.
Yeah.
Because it's in your cookies.
It's
It's
in
in
the
there.
cookies.
It's
Yeah,
in the cookies.
it is in the cookies.
And I tell you, earlier today, I did a thing with Allie, and I had forgot to turn my microphone off when we got through. It was still on, but now I wasn't on live anywhere. My son came in, and we were talking for a few minutes, and I sat down and went to go check emails, and I'll be damned if I didn't have 3 ads pop up on the topic that we were just discussing.
Oh my God, of course.
And I'm like, how the hell did that happen? And I looked and I realized my mic was still on. I was like, son of a bitch.
Like
Yeah,
Alexa.
you got to turn that
Fine,
stuff
I mean,
off.
Alexa or all, Siri.
I mean, my cameras and stuff, I cover them at night. I put a little thing over them. The one I have at work on my work computer, my webcam, I keep it taped
Yeah,
tape over the front of it. People would say, "Why you got that taped up?" I said, "Because I don't want to watch me."
I've always done that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I always put a little piece of paper over my
yeah,
yeah.
laptop camera because I
yeah.
don't.
I've always done that too.
Me too. But I just thought I was being paranoid, and it
No,
was just purely
no.
neuroses.
You
No,
gotta
there's reason for it.
just turn it on remotely, and there you are.
Yeah,
You never
Right on.
know. You never know if somebody's come in and hacked you. If they're really smart, they wouldn't let you know. You know?
Exactly.
Well, if you're talking about the camera, something's going to light up. You know, there's a little light there when your camera goes on. So if you don't
some
see
cameras.
the light, I don't think that they're in there. But yeah,
Not all of them. Not all of them light up anymore.
really,
Really.
And also,
My new one doesn't light up. It's
Yeah.
that Z. It's a Z HP. No,
yeah.
there's no.
Oh, okay.
Also, not
Yeah.
only can you not rely on the light on the camera, but the camera is not what they're coming into you for. They're coming into your machine. They're coming
Yeah.
into your actual computer to look for social
What are
security.
you looking at? What are you reading?
Well,
What kind
no,
of articles are you downloading?
Identity.
no, not a hacker. A hacker doesn't
Yeah.
give a crap about that. A hacker is looking for
Your
monetary
identity.
information and personal data that they can use to steal your identity.
Yep.
So covering the cameras is a good idea, but maybe turning off the machine is another idea, because at least when it's not on, there's nothing for them to get in and look at.
Right.
But believe me, if they've gotten in there once and used your camera or your microphone,
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
not interested in your pretty face. They are
No.
interested in your money. That's what they want.
Yeah. Until they go in and look and say, "Oh well, she doesn't have any money." You get taken off the list. But
And I kept thinking they'd come in, see my pretty face, and go, "Oh, she's nice. I won't bother her." But apparently that's not true. Apparently I can still get hacked. So it's me. Well, ladies, this has been a hoot. This has been really, really fun. Happy
Yes,
St.
it
Patrick's
has.
Day, although I don't celebrate it, but whatever. But thank you so much. Thank you to everybody in the and I'm the look at me. I'm the only one with a stupid thing still on. So
It's been
well, I had
distracting
mine
this whole
on, but
time.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You
Now
know,
I don't feel so-
I'm really glad to have met Val and Shari and see what you guys have done. I've been watching you from a distance, and you guys
well,
are
you're
cool.
welcome to come on our channels anytime. Just say the word.
Yeah, well, anytime, Cleo.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll
Definitely.
be more than happy to have you as a guest.
Email me at dragonflycrystals@yahoo.com so I can get you contact information.
Okay. All right.
Great.
And Colleen's got my email, so just
I
give
do.
it to you.
Well, when I sent the link today, all of
Oh,
your
that's right. We've already got each other's email. It's
have
already in the system.
I've already got you.
Kidding.
Yeah, we probably all have it then.
Well, I'm gonna definitely get this group together for another Politarology, because it just I don't even have to work. I can just let you guys talk. So
This was fun. The only thing missing was green beer. So,
yeah. Well, okay. So next time that means that we can drink. Okay, good.
That's allowed.
I'll have some
I
Bailey.
oh, that would not be a pretty sight.
And I just want to say, for all the people in the chat, again, I totally ignored you except for a couple of comments. I will try to do better with that. And thank you, ladies, for everything. And Val and Cleo, I don't think I found you in the YouTube.
Look what Plucky just put in. Plucky put in, I'm Googling information on companion plants. Lo and behold, I'm getting all sorts of garden advice on my feed. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
you did it to yourself, Plucky Heroine. You did it to
Yeah.
yourself. All right, everybody, we're going to sign off now. Thank you so much, and look for the playback. And ladies, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for the invite. This has been fun.
Yeah,
Love
this
you
was
all.
fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. We'll do it again. We'll definitely do it again. All right. Bye. Good night, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Good night.